Hey guys, Gibbs here. We're back with another video in the tactical series, and I'm really excited to bring this one to you. It's one that I've been working on for a couple of months on and off, and I finally think I've got this tactical set, not just one tactic, this full set, ready to bring to you, and it is Paris Saint-Germain. If you've been a long follower of the channel, thanks for sticking around, of course, and hopefully you'll have seen that I've been toying with the idea of doing a Paris Saint-Germain tactic for a while, but I've been looking at it from different approaches, different styles, different formations, and kind of came to the realisation that if I'm going to do a PSG one, I need to take it right down to basics, that I need to look at the fact that Tuchel does offer a lot of tactical changes and different styles in game, and that's what I've looked at. Under the same philosophy, of course, most of the things that change are the player roles or the player instructions, which there is very little of. They do play very similar. The formation does, and positions just do make a big impact, and you can see that from everything here. As you can see, 3 points clear at the top of Ligue 1. We've been doing well across all competitions, really. A couple of blips here and there with performances, but I'm going to put that down to the fact that I've been using 4 tactics over this. Yeah, that's right, 4 tactics you're getting today, so hopefully this will help a lot easier if you're looking for maybe not even PSG, just a tactic to use for a top team. Maybe try and get these in, because they are very good styles of play that Tuchel has brought to Paris Saint-Germain. Now, one thing I'd like to point out before I get into the tactics, because we're going to have a lot to talk about today, is that I have based it on Tuchel's style completely. There is little of thinking about whether it will work in FM with it today, because Tuchel is that much of a, I would say, tactical genius in terms of what he brings to the table in his man management and his tactical decisions and his on-the-spot decision-making with personnel on the pitch. I really want to focus on bringing the best out of him that I could, and I think I've done that pretty well over the 4 tactics. And at the same time, they do work pretty good, all of them, within Football Manager. As you can see, there is a couple of draws. There was 3 draws away from home, and the 1 home loss, which I was very, very shocked to see this come out as a home loss. As you can see, completely dominated, but we just weren't good enough on the day, sadly. But yeah, into the tactics. This is the first of 3. It is the 4-3-3 that we've been working with, and it's certainly been an interesting one. I tried to focus on kind of how they played against Liverpool, but it didn't really work. And then again, I looked at likes of, when you go and look at the games against Real Madrid earlier this season, there was certainly an aspect of looking at what they'd done well, what they didn't do well, and I came to the conclusion with this one that it kind of didn't really work with the way the rules that they had. So the way it was in that game specifically, and a lot of games that they've played since in this style, is having Idrissa Gueye here as a ball-winning midfielder who'll push up, similar to Weston McKennie at Schalke. They push up onto the defence rather than sit back and wait for the ball to come into a safe area, just to try and win the ball high up the pitch as possible. Looking at the other rules, it's basic along the defensive line. It's probably what you would describe as a Pep Guardiola defence. Having a half-back there to drop in, and also be your pivot in the middle of midfield, and your wing-backs that will go up and overlap your wingers. Neymar on the left is an inverted winger support, and I have given him to sit narrower, so he almost plays as a 10, because Bernat gives excellent width, and he really bombs up that touchline there. Mbappe inside forward on attack, again very good, and Icardi up as a poacher. Now normally I would go with Cavani as an advanced forward rather than a poacher. However, with Icardi in this game, I've not been able to find a better striker than him, in my opinion. There's a lot of good ones out there, but from what I've used in terms of how he brings people into play, and just his overall shot conversion through doing this testing, has been absolutely terrific, and I've yet to really find someone quite as good from him in that role, in that poacher role, that he's really made his own through all this testing. Looking at the tactical style, which stays consistent through all 4 tactics, I'll say, but the point is that it's the same style that Tuchel uses, but he uses it in different formations with different player roles. That's what I'm trying to get across here. but I will have the full download set in the description so that you don't have to, fix the roles or change any instructions. Looking at it, it was based off of a control possession sort of tactic, but we have made a couple of changes. We have got the attacking mode at standard because the mentality is attacking. That would normally be narrow. Player defence and overlap left and right is the only changes there, mainly because you need to get the wing backs up, because both Mbappe and Neymar will go up front and act as 10s, and Mbappe is a backup striker. Slightly shorter and slightly lower tempo just to keep it consistent with how they play. They like snappy passes, but they also can go quite vertically direct up to the strikers, because they do have the option of Cavani, Mbappe even, and Icardi. Be more expressive is mainly due to the quality that is in the team. You don't want to really sit and have all this quality and play a structured style of play. Tuchel certainly has them playing very expressive football in all areas of the game, so that's why I've got that on there. The counter and counter press and slow pace down. Keylor Navas is very tentative when it comes to kicking the ball out. He will kick it long, hence why I've taken the distribution type out. But slow pace down is mainly because PSG are one of the best teams in the world for building out from the back. They're probably, if I look back, it's one of the first teams that I've seen do it at a high level and think, wow, when Unai Emery was there. But certainly that's a thing that's followed with Tuchel, and especially in this formation with those three at the back there. Out of possessions, fairly self-explanatory. The only thing I've done is I've taken off prevent short goalkeeper distribution. This is because when you watch PSG, Mbappe will chase down the keeper a lot of the time. However, when they don't do that, they stay structured, they tight mark the players, and they sit waiting for that long ball from the keeper to try and win it and counter instantly. So that's why I've stuck with that. Everything else has stayed pretty much the same. So I'm glad we've went over that. That means I don't need to do any more talking on the tactical style. As I say, it's consistent throughout. It's just the player roles that I'll highlight when we get to them. So the second tactic is one that you maybe be more familiar with Tuchel, and that is the 4-2-4, or the 4-4-2 as I've got it. So the big difference is that the right winger is now Di Maria, and the left winger is now inverted winger support Neymar, and he's no longer got that sit narrower. And the reason for that is he does need to provide some width in this one. Di Maria on the right is an inverted winger attack, provides a lot of good forward runs, especially supporting Mbappe, who tends to maybe drop into the half spaces in between the fullback and centre half of the opposition team. So Di Maria charging inside allows him to do that, and Mbappe is really good at just knocking the ball past the defender and firing it across goal into the corner. The two in midfield, again, stay pretty much the same in terms of their in-game roles, but as you can see, Gay is brought up to a ball-winning midfielder. Now what he does is he's a very good, very strong player, as we'll look in his stats, stamina, strength, pace, everything like that, really good for a defensive midfielder. Everything he's got leans into being able to do the role that he's needed in this team, in the game and in real life. So he will win you the ball in a good position, sometimes even push up, like I mentioned how he did against Real Madrid in real life, and he will lay it off to either Verratti or Di Maria, and then they'll work it from there. A big thing of this system with Tuchel is the fact that he does like to switch it side to side a lot, and it's to do with overloading the sides. Now typically it is the left side with Neymar, the overload, because with his quality there is a lot of drawn players in, and there's a lot he'll probably be marked by two men. What happens is Neymar will get the ball, he'll play it to Verratti, it'll ping out to Di Maria, and in Mbappe goes from the wide side of the defence, and it works perfectly in game as well. I'm sure you will see it when you play the tactic. Everything else is pretty self-explanatory. Against this defence is going to stay the exact same for both of the four at the back formations, and it does change slightly because the next two formations are a three at the back. So this is the one that, again, looking back to Liverpool last season, is probably the best one to watch, is because of either with Liverpool last season or Dortmund this season, they have really shown all, and within those 4 games, they've really shown every single style they can play, and it's been quite magnificent to go back and analyse them and look at how over 4 games in 2 years Tuchel's used 4 different systems almost. But the main one here that we looked at is how he played around that time last season during the Champions League group stages when he was getting the best out of Neymar creatively and Mbappe was scoring for fun. Now, the back three brings in Kimpembe and Marquinhos sits as a cover. Idrissa Gueye comes in as a ball-winning midfielder rather than a half-back because there's no need to fill in as a fourth centre-half. Verratti in the midfield the same, and these two will sit just the same as they do in the 4-4-2. The two wing-backs are the same wing-back support. They will go forward and they will come back in defence to make it a 5-3-2 in defence or a 5-2-3-1. A 5-2-1-3 even. The two strikers stay the exact same, poacher and complete forward. Mbappe does really well at this role. If you've seen my Celtic one, you'll know that complete forwards allow you to do a lot, and Odsonne Edouard is good at that, but Mbappe is even better, which is to be expected. He can play the advanced forward role and the deep line forward role very good, and it really gives the team a lot of depth up front, especially with having Icardi, that really big goal scoring threat up front. Now, the main one and the strange one in this is Neymar as the Roman playmaker. Now, in real life, Tuchel has utilised both Sarabia and Di Maria in the middle of the midfield with Verratti in behind them as those two midfielders. Now, Sarabia and Di Maria are typically used as wingers most of the time, but when in this system, they are allowed to go forward, they are allowed to, pick out wide spaces, and it almost forms this sort of circular shape with Verratti, or in this case Gueye, in the middle when they push out. But for the sake of working in FM, Verratti will stay along with Gueye and Neymar can go wherever he wants. He has got roam from position on and move into channels. Now I will just need to load up the next one quickly. Now this one is very much the same, but it works very differently. I was surprised at how differently this worked. Now this is when you look at a lot of how Tuchel plays, this is what you will find. You will find one of Neymar, Mbappe and Cavani as a front three, and Neymar just tucked slightly in behind. The rest of the team is the same as in the 3-5-2, but I wanted to include this one as well because it did give me a lot of good results, such as when we look at it, that one against FC Metz was definitely used at one point in that. Some of these really good results here were utilising that tactic because I didn't make it up until about, I think it was the Valencia game when I first decided to make it. So when you look at it that way, this is one that I wanted to include because when I initially started researching this, back in March, this was the system that was originally used, which then handed into how I made the Leipzig one. If you've seen that one, then this will look pretty familiar to you, I would imagine. Looking at competitions for how it's done, guys, as you can see, first knockout round, still in both cups, and we won the Trophée des Champs. Still at the top of the league, and Mbappe is scoring goals for fun along with Icardi. We'll just go and look at the player stats real quick. So you've got Mbappe and Icardi in 21 goals each, which is insane. Especially the fact that Icardi is on shoot more, he will not lay off much. And then you've got Mbappe in the highest with Neymar and 11 assists. He is the creative force in the team, so I'm happy that it's come out with that. Idrissa Gueye, best pass completion. That is mainly due to his roles in both the 4-3-3 and his roles in the 3-5-2, which I've not got loaded up just now, where he sits as the ball-winning midfielder. So I'm not surprised at all the fact that he's sitting there. A couple of red cards, but that's just because of the high pressing mentality. The one for Ander Herrera wasn't really a red card. I think I appealed it but got failed, and Wern Bernat's was definitely a red card. He was just late in the tackle. But anyway, guys, this has been one that I've been working on for a couple of months now, especially if you've been following the channel, you'll have heard me mention it a few times, but I really wanted to get it into the best state possible to release, and I feel like I've got it that now, with 4 different systems, with 4 different unique player roles to be able to use and utilise in different ways. One thing to add just before it's just come into my mind, the way that I would use these tactics, this is key, is if you're going up against a team with a 3 at the back, use the likes of the 4-4-2, because it pins back to the centre halves and it really works well. If you're coming up against a 4-2-3-1, use the 3-5-2 with the ball-winning midfielder as Idrissa Gueye. That will completely nullify their attacking midfielder, which is a massive part in a 4-2-3-1. And if you're using maybe a 5 against a flat 5 at the back, go ahead and use the 4-3-3 because that gives you the best attacking width, and it also gives you the best attacking prowess up front with having all three of Neymar, Icardi and Mbappe all narrow and all attacking in the middle two defenders. So with that in mind, guys, I hope you have a lot of fun using these tactics. It's been a lot of fun making them and bringing them to you, and hopefully be bringing a couple more to you in the next week or so. Possibly Schalke, looking at Arteta's Arsenal as much as I record this, I've just watched them lose 2-1 to Brighton, but looking at Arteta's Arsenal, looking at also Lampard's Chelsea, so hopefully they will come in the next few weeks. But I've been Keebs, guys. Check the description for the downloads. Check my Twitter as well in the description. Anything that I post or I'm going to post will be seen there first. Hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you never miss a tactic or an episode of the Blackburn series that we're running at the moment at all. And I hope that you've enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.